I do believe I've talked before about games that put their theme to good use. Fair was one such game. It really made you feel like you were playing a game set in Egypt through its mechanics, through its aesthetics, through its style, through everything it had. And such a theme can often be good enough and well implemented enough to offset any sort of problems that the game may have. And honestly, such was the case for Evil Genius, a game made by Elixir Studios in the year 2004, back when it really wasn't all that popular to make a game that's similar in gameplay to Dungeon Keeper anymore. We sort of got a revival a couple of years later. And in its essence, this is what Evil Genius was. It was Dungeon Keeper, but with a different theme, one that it managed to implement very well. It was a compelling theme, one that you couldn't really find in a lot of video games, except one that I hold very dear to my heart, No One Lives Forever. It is a spy game, a comedic spy game, one that takes shots at only classic clichés of the spy movie genre, but it does it from a place of love. It does it with respect. It does it not with cynicism, not with the aim to mock, but to enjoy it. And how better else to enjoy something like this than to just play as the best character possible in such a game. No, not James Bond or Kate Archer. Let's face it, they have their work cut out for them. The most fun you can have in a spy game is by being the villain. You're gonna have a fortress in a dormant volcano, you're gonna have doomsday devices, you're gonna have death rays, you're gonna have literally anybody you want killed just because you're the evil mastermind that wants to take over the world, and nobody, and I mean nobody's gonna get in your way, not even that maid that was just on the island for some reason. You can even kill your employees, why wouldn't you? They knew what they signed up for, oh, make no mistake. They knew. To explain this game as being Dungeon Keeper with spies, I should have probably explained first what Dungeon Keeper is, and that was my initial intention, but they announced the sequel to Evil Genius a couple of days ago, so I may as well strike while the iron is hot. The essence of the idea is that you will build a lair, an evil, secret underground base under a mountain, in a volcano, or wherever else the missions will take you, where you will house your minions, where you will train them, you will feed them, you will give them beds and lockers because they won't come to you without lockers. You're gonna build your base of operation from which you will launch attacks all over the world. You will steal their money, you will steal their riches, you will infiltrate, you will disseminate terror, and you will destroy the world if it is not within your grasp. Also, you will build traps. You will build many traps because there will be people coming after you. There will be investigators, there will be police people, there will be secret agents. Starting with your average local kind of secret agent that dies at the beginning of every James Bond movie, and then ending up with James Bond himself at your door. Well, it's not called James Bond, but more advanced, more savvy spies will come for you. And will they succeed? Well, that all depends on two things. Did you put actual triggers on your traps, pressure plates, so the traps will activate? Did you put them at the right distance, not too far, not too close, so they actually work where they're supposed to work? And of course, do you have any other minions working for you? Do you have highly trained assassins of your own? Do you have people capable of roundhouse kicking 12 grunts in the face in half a second while smiling and probably drinking something exotic? Well, you should get one of those, they're quite useful. In the game you actually got to play as one of 3 characters, 3 evil geniuses. I'm not entirely sure if there was a difference between them, aside from the aesthetics and the minions you would start with, but at least you had that choice. And as that character you would embark on your campaign of world domination and hotel management from time to time, because you had to build a cover so, the random tourists coming to your island wouldn't just stumble upon your secret base. You could kill them, and more would come, and agents, and it's best to just have a good cover. But you know what would have been better? If this game was good. It's okay, don't get me wrong, it's okay, but its main feature, its main attraction is the theme. It's the way that it just presents itself as an earnest homage to spy movies. The gameplay itself The interface, the building mode, the pathfinding is not great. It's also not helped by the fact that the game is slow as hell, in the beginning that is, and doesn't give you really that many options in terms of how you want to play it. Let's say you don't want to go through the tutorials, you don't want to go through the first couple of missions, you just want to start a sandbox mode, build yourself a magnificent lair and just launch attacks at the rest of the world and enjoy yourself for a couple of hours. No, you flat out cannot do that. You have to go in the beginning, slowly building up on the first island and then second island, and then it's slow. It can be annoyingly slow, and the interface doesn't really help. I mean, everything sort of seems to take about one click more at times than it should. And the way you place down buildings, well, not buildings, but the furniture in the rooms you create, they're made in such a way that they require actually more space than they physically occupy, because there needs to be an interaction point, and that interaction point cannot be obscured, not even by a pixel, because if it is, the entire thing is useless, even if it's just a locker, even if it's a bed that you can get in and out of from any direction. This leads you to building things not necessarily as you would want them, but the way the game wants them, and until you actually learn how and become kind of disappointed by it, it's not a fun experience. It's just slow, it's tedious. It sort of feels like it takes forever to get going, but when it finally does get going and you do manage to get used to the asinine pathfinding where your characters basically have the IQ of a ton of bricks, and you plan around that, you leave them wide empty spaces to use their discretion. You make sure you don't put traps necessarily everywhere, because when they get a bit tired they can trigger them and die. When you understand all of the game's shortcomings, all of its flaws, you can actually start to enjoy it. Enjoy it because, again, its theme is so well done. And that's when it goes from being slow to everything coming at you at about 1,000,000 miles an hour, with everything punching you in the face repeatedly, fast, hard, and without end in sight. You're gonna have to act fast, think on your feet, and hope that you actually designed a proper lair. Otherwise, you're probably gonna lose. You're probably gonna die, because the world's not big enough for you and do-gooders to live in it at the same time while trying to blow everyone up. Which is why I'm very happy that they announced the sequel, because just by looking at the first game, they should know how to do the theme justice, how to incorporate the idea of espionage into the game. And I hope they do keep kind of the same time period, you know, the 60s, the 70s, when espionage was suave, cool, zany, campy, off the walls, mad sometimes, and always entertaining, and combine that with better design for all the stuff I've already said that the game kinda lacked. If they do that, then Rebellion is gonna make one of the best Dungeon Keeper games ever, and it's not gonna be a Dungeon Keeper game, it's gonna be an Evil Genius game, and that's gonna make it, well, I wouldn't say better, because Dungeon Keeper itself was a masterpiece, but it's gonna be a really great game. The original, it's not as good as Dungeon Keeper. Like, it's the same kind of game, not as good as Dungeon Keeper, doesn't give you as many options in terms of control or directly manipulating your characters. Doesn't give you as many tools to just be completely evil at your own whim, but it does make you feel like you're some mad genius in an underground laboratory, building a doomsday device, kidnapping people, interrogating them, and setting fiendish traps at each corner. Fiendish traps of fiendishness. If you're still interested in playing Evil Genius, you can find it on GOG right now for the price of €9. It's also on Steam. Well, it was on sale because of the whole giant Steam summer sale, but now it's probably back to being at around €9, just like on GOG. It's worth a try, just for the theme at least. The gameplay has some issues. You get used to them not being very good all the time and having some annoying bits, and there not being a free play mode, and you not being able to create your own island that you can populate with your minions and your bases like some kind of evil version of Tropical, eviler version of Tropico, but you get used to them. So give it a go, and let's hope that the sequel is going to be the best possible version of this idea, because it very well deserves it. Goodbye.